Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about Durotar and Orgrimmar. We'll be discussing a few of the key locations in Durotar, some of the locations where some hardcore players might die a little bit too much, and then we'll also be talking about some of the lore as well. Now, some of you might be wondering, why Durotar? Why did Thrall choose Durotar? Well, it's because Durotar was barely occupied. Thrall didn't want to take land. He wanted to build a land, something that they can call their own. So yes, Durotar is a little bit more on the rugged side, but Thrall's hope was that they can build something and make it into their own instead of just taking it from someone else. Now, Durotar is named after Thrall's father, Durotan, which is just a constant reminder of the struggles and the challenges that they've overcame, and continues to be that reminder that they're doing something for a reason. Now, when you first exit the Valley of Trials, you'll find yourself encountering the first village, Sen'jin Village, where the first kind of trial of combat that you face with, the real trial of combat, is a half horse, half headache centaur. Now, these guys are there to just kind of cause havoc. Your quest is to go in there and destroy their plans to attack the cities of Razor Hill, Sen'jin Village, and Orgrimmar. Now, my question with this quest is that's the only quest you get for them. And then after that, they decided that that's it. Their like plans are destroyed. You know what? I don't feel like printing off more plans. Let's just cancel those. Let's go ahead and have a lazy Sunday. So that's what they do. Thrall may have chosen Durotar to carve out a new home, but it's up to us to strengthen it and make it into that home. Aiding Sen'jin in defending against the Kolkar just introduces the idea that mostly everyone is out there to kill us, but we can take care of it. It's your first taste of a challenge outside of the Valley of Trials, where you realize that survival here won't come easy, but I think you're up to the task. Speaking of tasks, I have one for you. If you're enjoying the content, please subscribe because I'm planning on doing these videos every week. Next week, we'll be discussing the kings and queens of the spooky people, the undead. Now, let's go ahead and move on to your next choice. You can choose to either go with wet or dry. Both towns offer key quests to test your mettle. Razor Hill, you've got Dark Storms, one of your first real challenges if you're up for it. Or you could head back to Sen'jin Village and take on Zanzaline, which is no walk in the park either. These quests will pit you against multiple enemies, forcing you to strategize and fight smart. It's where you'll have to decide whether you want to team up with someone or risk taking on these quests alone and risk everything. Especially if you're running as a hardcore, one mistake and you can lose everything, and you'll be back in the Valley of Trials and trying to get that boar killing certificate again. Completing these quests kind of shows that you're no longer at that point of a peon or a boar killer, but you're actually the protector of Durotar, and you're ready to make your way out into the main world. But now that you've got those main quests done, it's time to complete the final, really usually the final quest that you find yourself doing in Durotar, Hidden Enemies. This quest leads you into Thrall's chambers. Now, you might be walking through Orgrimmar and be like, ooh, shiny. But stop. Wait. Don't go there yet, because we'll talk about that later. This quest sends you into the depths of Skull Rock, a creepy cave with a bunch of cultists that are there for some reason, and your objective is to kill as many as you can until you get a specific rock. Now, there's two ways this goes. You can kill one, the very first one that you go into the cave and you kill has the rock, or you'll kill 100 and then you'll get the rock, maybe, or you'll die. I'm not sure exactly why we can't just pick up a rock and give it to Thrall and be like, hey, here, I got the insignia. Is he really going to notice? But once you finally get that rock, make sure you try to make your way out of the cave as fast as possible. If you're like me, where it usually takes you a few kills, you've probably ran into Gazuz. I'm not sure how you say his name, but it's this guy right here. He's kind of a butthead, and he'll respawn immediately after you kill him. Sometimes in the same spot, so you got to be careful. Now, after you kill him, just get out of there. Don't mess with him. And sometimes there's an elite that spawns in that cave. Be careful of that too. because that cave is probably, I think it's the highest death spot for the Horde right now, in Durotar at least. So just be aware of that. All right, now let's move on to Orgrimmar, the Spike City, the city of spikes, the city of fire, death, and rock.
Spike City, it's so sharp. Spike City, it's so sharp. Spike City, it's so sharp. Spike City, every boss.
Here is where Thrall decided to lay the first building block of Orgrimmar. After the death of his friend Grommash Hellscream during the battle with Mannoroth, the orcs' final freedom from the demonic blood curse, Thrall saw this as a perfect place to begin a new kingdom, a land where the orcs could finally be free, rebuilding their honor and their future. Orgrimmar stands as a monument to the freedom and the sacrifices made along the way. Orgrimmar has some pretty great things going for it. First off, there's fires everywhere. So if you're working on cooking, just stand next to one and bam, you're good to go. No need to find a fancy stove here. The Horde is all about practicality. Second, let's talk about the drag. It's where a lot of the professions are housed, so you're not running all over the place other than mining and blacksmithing and engineering, which are up in the Valley of Honor. Everything is conveniently packed into the drag. It's a one-stop shop for all your crafting needs. And then there's the first dungeon you'll face, right in Orgrimmar, Ragefire Chasm. This is a short walk from the entrance, so there's no trekking across continents to get that first taste of group content. It's so convenient. But one of the best things about Orgrimmar, our leader, Thrall, his War Chief's blessing when someone completes the Ren Turn-in, that buff, one of the greatest gifts. Just another reason why Orgrimmar is the best place for aspiring heroes of the Horde. Now, there are a few more points of interest in Orgrimmar. The Valley of Honor, for example, is where you'll find champions training to bring honor to the Horde. If you're on a non-hardcore server, this place is bustling with people queuing up for battlegrounds, ready to take on the Alliance. But on the hardcore servers, it's more of a ghost town since everyone's focused on survival rather than PvP glory. The other valleys in the Orgrimmar, like the Valley of Spears and Valley of Wisdom, don't have as much going on. They're mostly home to trainers and vendors, but they're not exactly the hot spots of the city. And speaking of inconvenient locations, can we talk about the first aid trainer, please? Why is he so far away? Why do I have to go over there, get to 90 or 79 first aid, and then I had to go buy some more linen from the auction house? I got to walk all the way back to the auction house to buy 2 more pieces of linen? Come on, please, just why is he so far? It's annoying. He's an orc and he's living with the trolls. I'm not trying to, say that orcs can't live with trolls, but it doesn't make sense. Put him somewhere closer. But aside from that, Orgrimmar is great. And there you have it. The homeland of the orcs and trolls, Durotar. And might not be much to look at, but it's the place they like to call home. And it's where you'll see the Horde kind of grow and expand throughout further expansions in the game. I hope you enjoyed this journey through Durotar and Orgrimmar. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. Like I said, next week we'll be talking about the Scoopy Poopy Fooky folks, the undead, because Halloween is here, and might as well talk about spooky stuff. So I'll see you next week. Loktar Ogar, friends.
Spike City, it's so sharp. Spike City, it's so sharp. Spike City, it's so sharp. Spike City, every block.